He goes, "Woo." You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
He just
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
We're recording, and there was like a breaking kind of news moment experience today. Do you know that it's still nice outside?
Yeah. I don't go outside often, but I do have like a deck, and I still now I have the house, so I have to go outside, as opposed to when I was living in an apartment building. I could just stay in that box for forever.
Yeah.
But now that I have the house, I actually have to go outside to actually handle things, and it's been really nice out.
Yeah, I've been sitting. I forced myself to either have a cup of coffee or something in the morning. I'm in a weird way where I find myself on the phone a lot, like speaking to people on the phone.
Don't like that.
Oh my God.
The worst.
I mean, need to do it. Like, I'm making some of these phone calls, and yeah, you got to be having phone calls. I'm calling people. People are calling me, but I'll sit out on the front steps when I'm doing those calls. And I was outside today. I went for a drive, and I was like, it is so nice. The car says it's 75 degrees outside, but for whatever reason, I don't know, last couple of weeks, I've kind of been in this like hole of just being in my apartment and not going outside. I was taking a lot of walks. I was going for runs, and then I just kind of stopped. I think that my brain just decided it's not nice out anymore. It's not warm out. You got to put on a jacket. I don't like my jacket situation right now. Don't feel like don't feel like addressing it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I was kind of beaten over the head today with the fact of yo, it's been nice, and you could still be going outside. And I don't know, getting sunlight, that's important.
Yeah, I agree. I also have been doing a similar thing where I'll throw on a sweatshirt and head down to my office, which you know where my office is. It's in front of a lot of windows and stuff. And so I've been throwing on a sweatshirt because I'm it's cold out. We're getting into fall, and then I'll be in my office for 2 minutes, and I'll be sweating my ass off, and I'll just have to go change because it's still hot.
That's true. Yeah, I'm dressing this up, and I'm giving the weather too much credit because it is still shitty sometimes. So it actually is in that period where, depending on the day or the night, you either do need a sweatshirt or
a big part of it is the mentality shift. There's the brain is okay, time to be adjusted, time to get adjusted. This is where I get depressed. This is where you're at your happiest.
Yep.
It's time for the brain to sort of transition to fall. Yeah. That's the worst part about fall, though. And I've always said that is the worst part about fall is being torn in between two seasons where you're I'm ready to wear sweatshirts, and then you put on a sweatshirt and you're fuck, it is way too hot to be wearing a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've missed an opportunity. I still could have been going for walks and or runs, and now that I haven't been doing that for a couple of weeks, I'm well, I'm not going to start now, because the second I start doing it, it's actually going to become crappy weather. So now, I don't know, I probably won't exercise or do anything for, I don't know, 6 months?
Hell yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, that kind of threw me for a loop. Also throwing me for a loop, Quibi is dead.
Quibi is dead, yeah. Hilarious. I mean, I don't, you're going to be I don't think it's hilarious. People losing their jobs. Blah,
there you go.
Blah. Yeah. I agree. But also, I do think that it's hilarious that they raised $2 billion and lasted 6 months.
Right. How can something with seemingly that much support have such a short runway?
That's where the humor comes from. I would never find it funny that somebody made failed in a small business and had to go through the grind of trying to make their business work. But it's fucking funny when you basically trick these very rich people into giving you $2 billion, and then that vision completely falls flat with so much support behind it, not only financially, but star power wise.
Big names.
How did that fail so badly?
Yeah, you start this huge thing, and I mean, Chance the Rapper's on board, Lino was on board, all the they were they seemingly had permission to use like the names you want to be using these days, right? Like the hit makers, the taste makers of our time. So I wonder, did it just like did they go through all $2 billion, or are they giving some of that back? Are they like, yo, based on projections, we're not going to be doing so hot. So look, we're going to give you $750,000 of the $1 million you gave us back, and like they're making a lot of those calls right now because. I mean, if they straight up burned through $2 billion, also, again, if
they straight up burned through $2 billion, I cannot wait for the Netflix documentary about like the parties that Quibi was having on a private island.
Right. Homeboy was in charge of Quibi. What's the kid's name?
I don't know. The guy who looks like he ate, what's his name? The stand-up comedian. Fuck. Oh, damn it. Mulaney. The guy who looks like he ate John Mulaney.
He kind of looks, okay, that's not bad. What's the Firefest?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I'm trying to think.
Patrick, no.
John
Billy McFarland.
Mulaney? Billy McFarland. Yeah.
I'm glad that neither of us remembered that, because like that would mean that Billy McFarland is still relevant and like on our brains.
Or that he made enough of an impression on us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that he would be still relevant to us today.
Yeah, no good. 6 months. Imagine if you made one of those shows or something, and like talking to the people that are like, yeah, this is done. Be like, oh, well, are there some changes we should make to the shows? And it's like, oh no, it's not you. We're just everything is over.
The entire platform is over.
But it was 6 months. Somebody brought this up, like. No one knew what HBO was 6 months after 6 months in like 1973. And they were like, all right, let's just keep making HBO for a few more years.
Sure. But like, think about at its root, the elevator pitch for Quibi is like these short entertainment programs that you watch
on the subway.
On the subway and like on your phone. And obviously the pandemic doesn't help for that, but like the infrastructure for that already exists. It's just like YouTube,
right?
So Quibi is basically YouTube, but like you got to pay for it,
right? Or I mean, they're pitching it as like, hey, when you're on the go, you can look at shit on your phone. Yeah, that part's already taken care of.
Right?
People are looking at shit on the phone, and you're like, yeah, but you're watching our stuff. And they're like, okay, why? And you're like, because you're on the go. And they're like, right, but they could be texting or on Twitter
or you could be on YouTube watching entertainment on the go. So everything, Quibi is entirely replaceable by YouTube.
So I agree. It wasn't necessarily a bajillion dollar idea, but all that matters is that it was cool. So I'm like, people are going to be.
Though? I mean, it was like noteworthy.
I thought that it was going to be cool because the people whose content we want to be consuming were part of it. So I was I'll check that out, even though I didn't.
Yeah,
so.
No, but they never made it appealing to check out, and I like none of the tastemakers were the most appealing part of that, and they were correct in the way that they approached that, where they're like, oh man, there are so many people involved with this, but none of the actual shows or like programs that I saw teased for Quibi were appealing at all.
Yeah,
I never saw any of them, and I was like, oh, I should check this out. I'm interested in seeing what this is all about. Like all of the like the program itself, like the content wise, never seemed appealing, and I think that they really did themselves a disservice by not allowing it to be shareable. And I think Jeff Lowe made this point a while back where like they really restricted people from being able to make GIFs or post any video clips of any of their content on Twitter. And that, I mean, everybody knows at this point in time, that is the easiest way to get free marketing for your shit. Like that is how everybody catches on to Netflix shows. Like there's a fear of missing out on Netflix shows because everybody is talking about it on Twitter and everybody is posting clips and like references and screenshots of certain things on Netflix. And people are like, well, I got to check this out to be in on the joke.
Right.
And so for Quibi to totally lock that down and not allow that to be part of their marketing strategy is so stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of a death knell. So I didn't know that was the case. I just knew that I wasn't seeing anybody talk about Quibi, sharing anything. And I took that as a bad sign that, okay, people aren't watching this stuff. But that being of their design is insane.
Right. Yeah,
and that's
their strategy was to make it seem like nobody's watching.
Right. Produce content like nobody's watching.
Right? Yeah. And like, it's sort of, I mean, like, you should understand this too, because when we've had the discussions of like whether we want to put things behind a paywall, like for Patreon and stuff, you've always been of the mindset, like, let's not lock people out. Let's not lock people out because like it
content czar DJ.
Right. And apparently Quibi was like, let's lock people the fuck out. Exclusive club here, and nobody ended up hearing about it.
That's so weird. That is insane. And you know what? I'm not even hearing people talking about how Quibi is dead.
Right.
I think we broke the story.
It had a silent life and an even quieter death.
It died as it lived. Is that an expression?
Yep.
It died as it lived. I mean, that does suck though. We were talking about like, imagine though if you got in on Quibi. I mean, I imagine a bunch of TV or digital people were like, okay, this seems there's a lot of money behind this. This is going to be the next thing. Sure, it's a risk, but if I can get in on the ground floor, right? Like, I mean, let's face it.
There's an inherent risk of getting in on like something starting up,
right?
But like, if you can get in on the ground floor and it does blow up, you are going to reap rewards like you've never seen before.
And I'll say, knock on wood, we work for huge corporations, but like in our business, there's a risk no matter what.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Like you just got to assume you're not going to be doing the same thing in however many years. So I could see that some people maybe jumping ship from one place to Quibi being like, well, who knows? Who knows how long I would have lasted at this place. So let's try it out at Quibi. And then bam, 6 months later, like, hey, okay, that idea is done. We have returned some of the $2 billion. And
I mean, I hope that some of that $2 billion goes towards like severance packages and just sort of ease of transition into another gig, because especially right now, man, it's going to be impossible to get work.
I know. Absolutely insane. Also insane. There is
Zoom
another.
dick.
What's that?
I said also insane. Zoom dick. I'll tell you.
What's
like,
Zoom dick?
Tubin.
Yes.
I'll tell you, like, I've been not captivated by the story, but totally captivated by the reaction to the Zoom dick, and way more than I ever thought that I would. Like, I didn't even have that much fun with like the story itself,
like the laughing at him part of it.
Right? Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. I'm surprised that it even took this long for that to happen.
But the biggest agreement there.
Oh yeah, but the reaction to it and like people bending over backwards to like, you know, like the meme, normalize this thing.
Yeah,
there's been people like yell like normalize something weird.
Yeah,
and people have been like, normalize jerking off in front of your colleagues and a Zoom call at work. Oh. And it's just the most bizarre thing. And like yesterday, the New Yorker published something that was essentially a think piece about like defending Tubin and being like, actually, this is about society's uncomfortableness with masturbation. So
I saw that, didn't read it. I agree.
Oh, I definitely didn't read it, but
there's a stigma and a weirdness about masturbation that probably shouldn't exist. Though? Sure. Yeah. I think that people just like pretend that. I think that all humans like to pretend masturbation doesn't exist, and I'm talking about like I think people like to pretend that like they don't masturbate, that anybody that they know doesn't masturbate. Like the last thing you ever want to think, or again, content czar DJ Bean, or talk about is masturbation.
That's the thing. Like, is it people not wanting like other people to think that they masturbate, or is it just them not wanting to talk about it? I think those are two different things.
I think that whatever option has people not thinking or talking about masturbation is the door that everybody picks. 10 times out of 10. Like I'm not loving that this is big in the news and everything, which kind of proves the point that like we're weird about masturbation. Although it's big in the news because the guy was doing it in front of his coworkers.
Right. So that's the thing. It's like, I don't care that this guy's pulling his pork. I really don't. Like, go for it, pal. What?
Breaking.
Yeah, I really don't. Like, go for it. Live your life. Let your freak flag fly. That's always been a staple of this podcast.
But again, that is not, and like masturbating is not letting one's freak flag fly. That is
exactly.
That is living.
Right.
That's like drinking water.
100%.
I
agree.
I'm not. Please, it goes without saying, I'm not defending that this happened at all.
Well, and even if you want to say like let your freak flag fly, like masturbate on Zoom, like have Zoom sex with somebody who is interested in that. But like trying to defend a guy who is just like jerking off at work during a work meeting.
Oh,
what are we doing here?
Right.
Why are you wasting your energy on that?
Oh my! Like the litany of bad decisions that are made there, and I understand that like with people working from home now, like there's like a lot of lines blurred with like when am I at home, when am I at the office?
Yeah, well,
if you're on the clock in a meeting, you're not at home.
Even if you want to be like technically like quote unquote on the clock and go ahead and like service yourself and like nobody finds out or whatever, like by all means, you're at home, you're in the safety of your own home, and if it's not like hurting anybody and you don't have deadlines or whatever, go for it. I don't give a shit. But like to defend a guy and be like, we've all been there when he did it on a Zoom meeting during like in front of colleagues during a meeting.
Yeah.
There are so many layers to like why this is not an average normal thing to do.
Right. Never, if anybody that doesn't know you're masturbating is in any way connected to your Wi-Fi, whatever. Just know. Not while they were doing? They were doing a I was just about to say dry run. Like a dress rehearsal of of election night.
Yeah.
Right. Like horrible. Like I feel
what a great topic for background noise.
But I think he was also on like another call or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it speaks to how much I don't want to know about this.
Right. But I'm also like of the mindset like I don't even want to be in front of a shut off webcam. Correct. If I'm doing that, like I know that like the FBI is watching. Like,
yes,
somebody's gonna capture that and store it somewhere. So like to do it while you're like cam should or like potentially could be in use is just a wild oversight.
And that's not just honestly like that is. I hope that everyone's being smart about this. Not even just in these strange and uncertain times.
Right,
not for masturbation, for anything, if you're doing the, I never know the word for it. What's the masturbation when you have a partner and
mutual masturbation?
You're doing it. No. And it's like masturbating, except instead of one of you, there's two of you. And what?
Sex,
yes.
Intercourse.
Yeah, intercourse. Okay, right. So like when you're when you're tossing an intercourse, like I hope everybody is turning off all of their everything. I mean, not phone, but like I don't know if you've got
flip your phone over.
Just turn your shit off because whether you're having sex, whether you're just having conversations, whether like. Have everything off.
Right. And I mean, I already know this about you and I know that this is true, but even if I didn't, I would assume it. You are I'm going to buy a webcam slider on Amazon and stick that baby on my computer.
Oh,
slide over.
Dude.
Oh, you
look at
have one
this.
on your phone too.
I have one on my
Holy
phone.
shit.
I have one on my phone.
Hell yeah. Well, I didn't know that part, but again, not surprised.
And work gave them to us a long time ago. They just had them. They were like, hey, if you want one of these slider things. I was like, what does it do? They're like, it just, you just slide it over any cameras. And I was like, microphones too? And they were like, we don't have those now. And I was like, okay, well, I will take this camera one. Yeah, I mean, I think that people would be crazy to not be using those. I hope that everybody is. I just don't like the idea in general of like somebody watching me as I'm on Twitter or as I'm texting, my big fat dumb face with like my mouth open, looking at the camera. I don't like that.
Point,
Batman's fucking watching me.
For me, my mentality is like I'm past the point of no return, where like this shit's already out there. If I get something, maybe I prevent it a little bit, but it's already out there. I might as well just lean into it.
I mean, I get targeted ads now from stuff I am thinking, not even.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Looking up,
that's the creepiest shit in the world.
And we're only like a year and a half removed from being like, hey, I'm starting to think that they're listening to our conversations. And now it's like, oh, well, yeah, duh. They're definitely listening to our conversations. Yeah. And now it's like, now when I just brought up, they're giving me target ads for shit that I'm thinking, you're like, oh, yeah, that happens too. Like, holy God, where does it stop? That's what, did we talk about the Netflix documentary about this
social experiment or whatever it is? No, but my mom actually watched that before I did. And my mom, you know how weird it is to get like the social talk from your mom who doesn't understand technology. And she's like, she gave it to me last night on the phone. She was like, technology is going to kill us. I was like, yeah, no shit.
Thanks, Ma.
Yeah. I was like, you don't even know how to turn on your iPhone, and you're over here telling me that technology is going to kill us. Thank you. I know.
Yeah. It's not, and dude, even with the...
I don't want to watch that, though. Like, technology's too...
Yeah.
I know I'm already, like... I know I'm addicted. I know that it's bad, and I know that, like, it's going to ruin my life and ruin the way that I perceive things, and probably eventually going to, like, give me brain cancer from, like, the radioactive waves, and just totally... basically ruin my life, but whatever. Who cares?
I can't wait. I just can't wait for the
grid to go down. Hell yeah.
I can't wait for the off the grid part of my life. And I don't know when it's coming. Gonna need to save up a lot to make it happen. But I can't wait till there's just a part of my life where I'm not on computers and I'm in a somewhat secluded. I don't know though. I'm like I'm sneaky social, so I would actually have a tough time with that.
So like the older I get, the more I understand Dave Chappelle and that whole thing that happened with him. Where like that dude got his money, got super famous, and was like an icon, and then he was just like when I was a kid and Dave Chappelle disappeared, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with him? He was tearing it up. And now, like, I'm at the place where with each passing day, I'm like, that guy's got it completely figured out. He got his money. He was like, I'm done with this. He lives in a small town in Ohio with like 300 people. I don't imagine him being somebody who's attached to his phone all the time. He works when he wants to work. He smokes a ton of cigarettes, and he's probably very happy.
So that's all we got to do. Just be like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. We got to just make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Just need all those millions, and then we'll be good. Here's a question. If you had all the money to like buy all the stuff you wanted, do you think that buying all that stuff and having like a lot of space or all the things that you wanted would make you happy, or would it bum you out?
And folks, here's last week's episode. Yeah.
Could you please answer the question?
Yes, I believe that it would.
Okay, cool. Here's something that happened. I just got a notepad full of shit. I'll do this one. Got a t-shirt today in the mail. I'd ordered it a long time ago. Been waiting for it. The shirt arrived. Opened it up. it was wrapped normally. When I opened up the shirt, I should have taken a picture and sent it to you. There was a sticker on it, and it said damaged. And then there was a piece of tape under a part where there was like, it looked like red paint was spilled on it or something. So I was like, then why the fuck did you send it to me?
Yeah, what? Like if you had the opportunity to just slap a sticker on it and be like, oh, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe like, don't send it.
Then don't send that one out. I didn't know if there was, I don't know what answer I'm looking for here, but.
Although, now that I think about it, the idea of just a shirt that just says damaged with a bunch of like red paint splattered all over it. Yeah. I'd wear that.
New merch. Yeah. We'll have like,
that is a good new merch idea.
We'll have it, like all tattered and everything. Be super cool. You could wear it like with ripped jeans.
Extremely emo.
Damaged. Yeah. I don't know. I looked up, I was like, all right, how do I return this? And I'm just returning it. What the fuck? And there wasn't even an option for like, can you send me a not damaged one? They're
really?
just like, so you just want your money back? And I'm like, this was the shirt, by the way. This was the Disney X Celtics collab.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought.
You've been waiting for this for like.
So I bought like, I don't know.
The
June?
Celtics were hopeful when you ordered that shirt, and now they've been eliminated for like 3 months.
I got it at like the start of the bubble or something like that, and I've just been waiting and waiting and waiting, and they sent to me, and they're like, "Yeah, this is damaged, by the way." So don't like that. Also, don't like this. I was getting a thing looked at with my car. They said, "Hey, you got to watch out for this." I was getting an oil change. They tried to sell me on something, so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the garage, the people I know, have them take a look at it." They had me do the same thing.
Vote no on question 1, or vote yes on what's the one where you want?
We're voting yes.
Where it's to allow them to access your information,
right?
Because we don't want to monopolize the service industry.
And people are trying to trick people to think like me, which is like technology is going to kill us. Like, yes, it is, but that's not what this is about.
Right. Vote yes on question 1.
Right. So they had me both places, the oil change place and this garage. They jack the car up and they say, "Hey, come here, come look at this. Let me show you this." And they have you stand under the car while they show you something. I don't like fucking standing under cars. I'm like, that's the risk that mechanics take on. That's like that's their cross to bear. They're badass and they're going under cars. As the wimpy consumer, I don't want to stand under cars.
No, definitely not.
Have you done that?
Stood under a car?
You ever stand under a grown car?
No, but I probably could with how short I am.
Yeah, they don't have to jack it up at all. Yes. Like I do that when I get gas. I just walk under the car to go inside.
I could probably stand under that new Hummer that they unveiled this week. Did you see that thing?
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, they unveiled a new Hummer. It basically looks like a cross between like the Tesla truck and
like the new
like
what's
a Chevy
called?
Avalanche and the Bronco. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And the new Bronco. And I told you, I don't think the new Broncos are cool.
I do. I think the new Bronco is cooler than the new Hummer. I don't know if you can see it because I know you just looked it up, but how much do you think that costs?
So this is Hummer, $60,000.
Try doubling it.
What?
It's like $120,000.
I remember Hummers were always unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah,
and then it cost $300 to fill
it up. Yeah, every 4 days.
Yeah, that's a big pass there.
So this one's all electric. It's an electric Hummer. Which is like really under the only circumstances that you could ever bring back a Hummer without people being like, "Yo, what the fuck? Are you doing?" But like, I also don't have any interest in like I don't want to destroy the universe, but I also don't want to like a completely quiet electric Hummer. I don't understand the appeal of like quiet cars.
Yeah, I don't think anybody actually wants that. I think that
it's very sad. I want the inside to be quiet, But like,
Right.
I also want to be able to roll down the windows and hear that baby purr.
Right. Yeah, and that's easy enough. I mean, cars had the option. I remember it was like hot shit that there was the option that when you roll the windows down, the music would automatically
Jack
go
up. Yeah.
So you do shit like that. Like when I'm rolling down the windows, put a little bit of a noise. Also, I feel like you're asking for way more accidents if the cars are completely silent.
That's true.
People like don't see and hear shit coming.
Not only accidents, but like people actually getting like hit by cars.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like if they can pipe in crowd noise during sporting events, why can't you pipe in car noise?
Is there a worse discussion than crowd noise being pumped in? Like, hey, I think this team. I remember there was a thing last year. People thought the Eagles were pumping in crowd noise. And
well, so that's the thing. I think the worst thing right now is not the actual discussion about crowd noise being pumped in. It's the jokes about like the teams that have supposedly been doing it for years.
Right.
They've been practicing for years.
Like who cares? And honestly, there's the stupid shit that we'll dissect in sports if we find it interesting. I mean, I'm really like team only stuff I find interesting. If it's not interesting to me, I'm picking up the stool and I'm throwing it against the wall, saying, "Who cares?"
Which is like a problem for both of us because so much of sports and covering sports is just stuff that I don't care about.
It's like shit that people don't care about. Yeah. But then,
people care about it. We just don't.
Right, but why fake it? I feel like we both tried to do that at points, and that just doesn't work. Like,
100%.
Hey, what do you think of? I don't know, just like
you just end up coming off sounding like everybody else, trying to force the same fucking conversation, and it just benefits nobody. I get
this way about the Bruins all the time. Like when people decide to start really caring about the Bruins and talking about the Bruins, you could tell when people just like weren't really into it, and they were like, "I'll have the conversation though," and it's like, "Cool, that's very nice of you," but just so you know, like we can hear it and we can tell that you don't really want to be doing that. So I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, I don't know. Just be a little more authentic. We care about the upcoming movie, The Empty Man. If you don't know what it is, it's every movie that has ever been called The Blank Man, where it's a horror movie where you don't want to say the blank man's name because then something happens and people start dying. And I cannot believe there's a lot of dumb shit that happens where you're like, we live in the stupidest time, et cetera, et cetera. This really is like, how do we keep making the same movie? Like every year now, I feel like there's been the last 3 years, right? Bye Bye Man was probably 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they made a Candyman remake,
which hasn't come out yet, but like will next year.
Wait, they pushed that?
Yeah, it comes out like next summer. It was supposed to come out this summer.
Wow. And I think Mike from Uber suggested a movie called The Pizza Man, where you make a big order, turn off all the lights, and if they catch you, they kill you. Like Tony Todd comes and kills you.
Yeah. Mike from Uber is quickly becoming my favorite person in the world.
I tell you, Stonkwatch, Mike from Uber,
huge rise, and it's mainly because of Twitch. That guy is always in the Twitch streams and just saying the funniest shit.
And he like stirs the pot. If someone's like fucking around, and I'm like, hey, so and so, you're the only person I don't enjoy in the chat right now. Immediately, it's like Mike from Uber has gifted.
He's a big spite sub guy. Where like if somebody comes into the channel and is like, I am actively not enjoying this. You are the worst. He will gift them a sub and be like, now you can't leave.
That's
it's amazing.
Can you explain to me what it means if he gifts them a sub? Like, how is the joke on them?
Because I mean, it's not really.
But it just means that like they inadvertently supported you.
Yeah, right. And it's like, and now they're like become a part of your community against their own will.
That's hilarious. I found that I'm a bit of a sub guy. If I do something in anyone's stream, I just like I don't know. I just like immediately toss him a sub.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Feels
How about
good to
that?
support the old community.
yeah.
I'm also a big raid guy. You should get into the raid business if you've got a bunch of people in your chat.
That means we're all going and doing this other thing.
That means that like if you're done streaming, then you can take your entire viewership and like cast them upon somebody else and be like, we're all here now to watch you. And it's really cool to do with like smaller streamers like ourselves. Like I very much appreciate a raid when I get one, because we're trying to make something happen over on Twitch, and so it's nice when people show that kind of support.
Yeah, I've got to try harder with Twitch. I've done a few of the Maple Leaf streams. We're really on the cusp of the season ending. We're down 3-0 in the first round of the playoffs.
Who are you playing?
Lightning.
Oh, okay.
Hosting them. It's a very good Jersey matchup.
It's very similar.
I mean, right. The FIFA, my FIFA friends call that a kit clash. Have you heard that?
I've never heard it, but that does make a lot of sense. I like that.
I was doing some FIFA with a FIFA head, and with the game we were in, he was like, "Yo, sorry, this is going to be a real kit clash." And I was like, "I don't know what that means." And then the game started, and I just like turned the ball over every time I got it, which I might have done anyway. But it's so tough if the uniforms are similar. But yeah, I'm doing that. I'd still like to figure out the audio situation, because I currently don't have audio from the PS4 when I play NHL, and you tell me that's okay. Most people say, "Hey, we'd rather there not be audio." But
you just got to play some tunes in the background or something.
Yeah, every now and then I'll get a tweet or something that's like, "Hey, I like these, but can there please be audio?"
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'd still like to do like non-video game-y things on the. Want to
do an unboxing on the podcast? I don't think we've ever done one of those.
Yes, go for it.
Cool.
It's a damaged shirt.
Yeah, it's not. As we got an Amazon Prime bag. We take this baby.
It's a webcam slider thing.
Yeah, I ordered one in the middle of the podcast. We got like a black tote bag. I know what it is, but I want to see if you know what it is.
It's headphones.
It's not headphones.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It
does look like a box of headphones would come in.
That's not. I was gonna say hair product, but no.
No.
What is that?
You'll see. I want to see if you can guess. It's like wrapped. It's basically like saran wrapped.
Yeah.
Which is a very strange way. I'm pretty sure this is like actual saran wrap. This is really weird. Okay, we're making progress here. All right.
Look, turn it a little bit. Is it like a jewelry box?
No.
Is it like
you got it?
I mean, I was gonna say ashtray.
Correct.
But is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice wooden ashtray. It's
interesting.
Handmade, apparently.
It like says it. Amazon.
Yeah, that's literally what Amazon said. It says handmade. It's got like, I didn't realize that this like top part doesn't come off.
I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
the top throws it for a loop.
I wonder if I could maybe like snap that baby off, but we'll see.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Now you have an ashtray.
Yep. One that doesn't explicitly look like one, which is nice.
Yeah.
But
will you keep that outside, inside?
Outside, probably on the old deck.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. This won't be a long topic, but prompt Twitter has to be stopped.
Prompt Twitter?
Yes.
What's prompt Twitter?
It's when Twitter shows up on time. No, it's when someone just tweets a prompt and that gets spread around.
like such as. I feel like that's what Twitter is built around, basically.
Like, what's one song that you were shocked when you found out it was older than you thought or something? And then people will be like, I thought that this song was from so long ago, but it wasn't. That's one song that I was shocked when I found out it was older than I thought.
So basically, like, the people just like straight begging for quote retweets?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Or like like One Has to Go or shit like that. I'm just Twitter sucks, man.
It really does. Also, them getting rid of like the straight up, not getting rid of it, but like tailoring towards quote retweets instead of straight up retweets. It's going to ruin my life.
That confused me for like 15 seconds and I was really annoyed. In general, we've talked about this. Don't quote tweet.
Yeah.
You can do it, like, but live by the rule of don't quote tweet. That way you'll quote tweet less. But when everybody fucking quote tweeting something to be like, we're all saying this or let's shit on this person or whatever, like, don't fucking do that. It's mean. Just don't do it. And if someone's in you, I've tried to do this less. If someone replies to you, don't do the quote dunk thing on them. Like I try to do that less. Reply to them.
You're right. I do that less now, unless like the person is just straight up being a dickhead.
Right. A guy tweeted at me today, and I tweeted out my quarterback power rankings, and he was like, "Here's the top 3 for anyone who doesn't want to click it." And I was like, "We're doing that. Save you a click tweet in fucking 2020? Shut up!" So I quote tweeted that with like, "Save you a clock" to mock them.
Hell yeah.
And then someone responded and he was like, "This guy sucks. Doesn't he know the only reason I read every week is to find out who's number 4? Who do you think's number 4 right now?
Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah. He's the 4th best player in the league. Who do you think I have as the 4th best quarterback, power rankings wise? Meaning like it's how they're playing. It's the whole thing. 1 is Russell Wilson.
Okay.
2 was Aaron Rodgers.
Not anymore. Went out
throwing pick sixes. So 2 is Mahomes. 3 is Aaron Rodgers. Who's number 4?
Number 4. Well,
it's pretty crazy.
It's not Dak Prescott.
No. R.I.P. You're so close. It's Andy Dalton. No.
Yeah.
It is going to be awkward.
Josh Allen?
No, but I've had Josh Allen top 5 for the last 2 weeks. He's now number 7.
Okay.
It will be awkward.
Ryan
Tannehill?
Yeah, okay.
Ryan
Tannehill has been sneaky good, but like he's nothing without Derrick Henry.
Right, but Ryan Tannehill is like, we've just got to accept that he's awesome. Like he's not going to throw the ball a ton, but he's still going to
He has to be
like
in a position
3 touchdowns
to succeed.
A game.
Right, he is like an Alex Smith, where it's like if you put him in a position to succeed, he will make the right decisions and he will not get you in trouble.
He's gaudier than Alex Smith.
Well, he's more like naturally talented, but he's the same sort of like prototype quarterback.
He's pretty manager-y, but
right.
He's still like he's going to throw for a ton of touchdowns, and now he's like throwing for 300 yards a game. He's insane. I'm so happy for him.
You know who's a beast?
Who?
Justin Herbert.
Yes.
Oh, he is a beast, dude.
I recently
watching him is so fucking fun.
Yeah, I recently made the decision. I am just going to pretend I like, pretend I like Justin Herbert, and then just keep being a Chargers fan. Although I die inside when everybody talks about like, oh, is there anything more gorgeous than their powder blues? Yes, like all of their other jerseys.
Right. I've said that. I think I've had this opinion for years, where like ever since they introduced that that color rush uniform, where it's like the royal blue with the yellow face mask. I was like, that is their best uniform, and it is better than the powder blues. And I think that's the best uniform. Yeah, I wrote an article about that on CBS, and of course, like all of the responses were like, "How do you choose this one over the powder blues?" And I was like, "Because it's fucking better."
Oh, dude, yeah, we're on the same train. I've been I've been all about the royal blues, and I always thought as like a Chargers guy that the powder blues were a little overrated anyway. But then once they came out with the royal blues, I was like, hey, I'm ready to have the discussion about how the Chargers have the best uniforms. Let's do it. And everyone's like, the powder blues, right? Get out of here.
And it's very funny. Another like funny element to that is that it's basically like the exact same color scheme as the Rams, who are obviously now also in LA. Mm-hmm. And somehow like the Rams entered into LA first and had their royal blue and gold or yellow or whatever you want to call it, which is one of the best uniforms in the history of the league. Those uniforms are amazing. And then the Chargers come basically like take that same color scheme, and theirs are not only better, but the Rams now have one of the shittiest uniforms in the league.
Although, I mean, there was nowhere to go but up, but the Rams ones have grown on me tremendously.
The helmet is solid, but like the uniforms themselves suck.
Like I think that the Rams are currently better than like the Falcons. I think the Falcons
100%.
did the worst ones.
Yeah, for sure. But like that's a very low bar.
Yeah, it's true. I think that a lot of people that like they don't necessarily fuck with the Falcons ones, but I think a lot of people don't think the Falcons ones are so bad. I think the Falcons ones, and it sounds like I'm preaching to the choir, so I won't spend long on this, but like the Falcons ones are like
generic.
It's like a seem like BU hockey jersey with like how big it says ATL on the front. I'm like, yo, like what do you? And that works on a hockey jersey, but it does not work on a football jersey.
You're a video game guy now, so I can say this, and I think you'll get it. But like, it seems that uniform very much seems like a relocate your Madden franchise, and here's a generic uniform that they provide for you.
Totally. I still have to figure out, by the way, can you choose the logo when you relocate your team and change their name? You can. Yeah. So like I've made Staple Leaf stuff on Photoshop. I can toss that in there.
Oh no, you can't like upload your own, but you obviously choose the logo.
Oh, so well then how am I going to do the Staple Leafs thing? Will I just use?
You'll have to find something that is close to it.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, it's not to the point where like NBA 2K allows you to basically upload your branding, which is amazing. Not the case with NHL, although NHL is ahead of Madden because like when you relocate a team in Madden, they basically pre-package the way that it works is like if you relocate your team, it gives you 3 options, 3 team names, and then like 3 pre-made jerseys. It's the stupidest thing.
Oh,
yeah,
that's annoying. I'm confused by this. I saw today that the 2K NBA ratings came out, and everyone was reacting to them. Hasn't that game already been out for a little bit?
I thought so. I thought that NBA 2K21 had been out because I thought
people
that everybody hated it.
Yeah, right?
Maybe so the game might be out. They might be just releasing like the roster patch for next year. Now, like because I think they released that game while the season was still going on.
Well, let's see. It says NBA 2K21 is what it would be, right?
Right.
It says it was released. Oh, no. Somehow I was confused. It says WW September 4th, 2020. Xbox and PlayStation November 5th. What's WW? Worldwide?
Yeah, it's got to be, yeah.
Wait. So maybe it's not a.
Yeah. So that's the worldwide release for this current gen. The next November, the November dates are for the next gen consoles like the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5.
Oh, okay, lame.
Well, I mean, did you see the trailers? The next gen trailer for that game?
No.
The graphics are just fucking insane.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like legitimately real life.
You know, it's so crazy how long we've been saying that about video games.
I know.
Like the first time I played Zelda on N64, I was like, yo, I can't tell what's real.
It's true. Like back in the day, you'd be like, wow, these graphics are fucking sick. But I feel like the graphics discussion has taken a back seat for like the past 10 years because we've sort of like reached our limitations for the most part.
Right. It can only get the graphics reached 95% like 10 years ago.
Right.
So moving up to 96 and 97
is not a big jump, and nobody's going to be like amazing. And I think that like people have realized that the graphics don't necessarily matter because if the graphics are great and the gameplay sucks, you're not going to want to play that game. So who gives a shit? Like, I don't know if you know how much you know about like Among Us, but Among Us looks like it was designed by like a fifth grader in like a computer science class, and it's the most popular game in the world right now.
Man, we did watch Hubie Halloween. We did it.
Yep, we did.
Want to talk about that?
Yeah, for sure.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked Hubie Halloween.
Enjoyed it. Yeah,
it seemed like a love letter to Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah,
and
he wrote a love letter to himself.
Right. It was a love letter to like the old school Adam Sandler movies, and not necessarily Happy Gilmore, but like Little Nicky. It was like a love letter to that type of like, is Adam Sandler still funny type of movie. And I'll say it was weird that it felt like such an felt like an old school Adam Sandler movie, but it didn't have like Peter Dante in it. And that was distracting to me, that like the crew wasn't there, but he still
there were several pieces.
Right.
Obviously.
He had a lot of, he did a lot of like his friends, but he didn't have like the Happy Madison crew, like Peter Dante and whatever that other guy is.
Yeah, it was sort of like the Happy Madison role players' time to shine, kind of.
Right. It was, I mean, Steve Buscemi, Kevin James. I mean, I was out on Sandler by the time Kevin James really entered the picture, but I understand that Kevin James is heavily associated with him. Obviously,
it was also
Julie Bowen.
Yeah. Still got it, by the way. Unbelievable.
Oh, just always. Just an absolutely gorgeous person.
Yeah. And then the first scene of the movie, the very first scene is what's his name? Ben Stiller reprising his role.
That's right.
From Happy Gilmore, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. I thought that Steve Buscemi stole the show. He was the best.
Steve Buscemi was great. Shaq was awesome.
Shaq was great. I only had one laugh out loud moment the whole movie, but it was Steve Buscemi when there was the standoff with the cops, and who are the cops? It's Keenan and who else was another cop?
Kevin James.
Oh yeah, Kevin James is the other cop. Yeah. Okay, right. There's the standoff with the cops, and they're like, drop it. Don't do whatever you're doing. I'll try to be vague and not spoil fucking Hubie Halloween. And then Steve Buscemi weighs in with something, and they're like, what? and he goes, whoa. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
He just made it because he thinks he's a werewolf.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks he's a werewolf. And I forget what he chimes in with. And the cops are like, what? Dude, what? No. And he just goes like, whoa, and it goes back to whatever they were doing. And that made me, I'm clearly not remembering the scene well, but I burst out laughing.
I mean, I enjoyed like almost all of the cameos. I mean, Melissa Villaseñor, I know everybody hates Melissa Villaseñor, but I love her.
Oh, disagree. Yeah, love Melissa Villaseñor. I don't think that she's great on SNL, but I don't know if that's her problem.
She's just so abrasive that like I'm there for it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Tim Meadows and like his wife.
So Maya Rudolph, hilarious. I also wrote down as stealing the show, but Maya Rudolph, I feel like Maya Rudolph is such an automatic show stealer that I almost didn't even want to put that in my notes.
Yeah, but I put her. Yeah, but she's in the same category to me as fuck. What's Kate McKinnon, where like it can be overdone. She's
gonna
done the
it.
Same. Yeah, and she's done the same thing so many times. Yeah, where it's like, please don't like just force feed me the same thing that I've seen a bunch of different times. But in this one, it hit the right spot.
Her character was so funny, and like halfway through the movie, it was like the movie figured out her game on the fly. And her game was that she's not sexually satisfied.
Yeah. And
there's nothing to suggest that like in like her first couple of scenes. And then once they kind of introduce that, the whole thing, anything she does is about how she's not sexually satisfied.
Right. Like the way that she's introduced is that she's on a date with her husband. Like the suggestion there is that like, they're married, but they're still having these like romantic things, and
they're like thick as thieves, those two.
Right, and then like at some point, it's just like you have never pleased to be ever.
Yeah, doesn't she say? Yeah, she says stuff like that. You're like, Jesus. Oh, I mean, Tim Meadows is always he's always good for a laugh. He was funny with the fingers stuff.
I really thought that this was going to be Adam Sandler delivering on his promise to make the worst movie of all time. Yeah. And like, honestly, he might have tried. Like, this might have been his attempt, but it was stupid as hell, but also probably the easiest watch that I've had in 2020.
Yeah. I mean, it was a stupid enough movie that it wasn't like stressful. Your brain wasn't working. It didn't need to be. It was like rewatching something, obviously, is how like surface level it was. So it was a very easy watch. I can't believe we haven't shouted out this guy yet.
Rob Schneider?
No, but shout out Rob Schneider.
I thought Rob Schneider was really good in that. Like the unexpected romance between. I don't want to spoil it, but like. There's he plays like an inmate.
Oh, right. He's the roommate of Steve Buscemi. No, I was going to shout out Will because didn't want Will to die. And that answers some questions for me about whether this is a Will thing or what's the young man's name? Noah?
Yeah, Noah Schap.
Noah Schap. Yeah, good. Yeah, look, we got your people knowing your whole name. Yeah. You're more important than Billy McFarlane.
I was just gonna say, yeah. Also, that kid, fucking tall as hell. He looks like an adult.
Looks like he's grown up.
He is gonna be a stud.
He played such a sweet kid.
Yeah.
Right? That you were like, you're really rooting for that kid. And I'll tell you what, that was his whole storyline. I was like, he seems like the nicest young man, and he's met a very nice young lady. Mm-hmm. There was really nothing. There was no like issue there.
No,
there was no like, oh, it's just that he's got some shit to figure out, or it's just that she's this. Like, I was like, wait, two high school people,
a senior and a freshman, a senior and a freshman, and that was like the most surprising
that is
part.
True, right?
It was like was
she a senior?
I believe so. Yeah. Because like he was trying to impress her at the coffee shop, remember?
I know she was older than him, but I didn't know.
I believe she was either like a junior or a senior, and that was like I thought that was going to be part of the storyline. He was going to be like struggling to be cool and trying to impress her, and she was going to be kind of an asshole to him. But like it was just a nice little story about like two people liking each other.
Right. She just seemed really nice. I mean the Adam Sandler voice was really stupid.
So bad.
That was so bad. Like he put no thought into that character.
Yeah. It was so unnecessary, and it was honestly for the first at least half an hour. It was challenging. Yes. It was challenging to get through and challenging to understand.
Yeah. So I will. That's correct. I just said that you could kind of turn your brain off for this movie. That was the one sort of toughie where you're like.
It was so unnecessary, too.
The soup stuff and the voice were both tough. And that's where, like, we've had this conversation a million times, but, like, Adam Sandler always has to just cloak it in that extra layer, that extra coat of silliness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, don't worry. None of us are going to think that you're actually Hubie Dubois. Right. Like, you can just use your own voice. And... first when he started doing the voice, I was like, is this offensive? Is this, but I don't think that he was making fun of anybody. He was just like being like,
this is the character,
kind of like simple guy.
Right. I think that they probably did about 25 too many thermos jokes.
Yes. Right. The soup shit and the thermos. Oh, didn't like that.
Other than that, I thought that it was very enjoyable.
Ray Liotta tried to kill him. Remember that?
Very funny. Also,
guys have him buried alive.
Yeah, and I mean there was several like attempted murders.
Yeah, but
the entire climax of the film, not to spoil anything, just surrounds like potential mass murder.
Right. Oh my God, I'm glad. This is growth. I'm glad that you haven't said, how did Julie Bowen see anything in Hubie? Because I was ready to bring up like both of those people were off.
Oh, for sure. I mean, she was just more well put together, I suppose. She also, I mean, she was married to Kevin James in that movie beforehand.
That's right. I think that they're all like townies, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. They all grew up.
Had known each other for decades.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I was starting to see people's different reactions. And again, we talked about this last week. Like, I couldn't tell what people were trying to say to us about this movie. Like, they'd say shit, and this drives me crazy. I have like a vendetta against, we watched Hubie Halloween, so you don't have to. Like, I don't know if you know what the word "so" means. I didn't have to watch that. Nobody ever had to watch it.
Right.
I mean, and
right.
Watch Hubie Halloween, and you don't have to.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, like even if there's like a good movie out there, you don't have to watch it. We don't watch a bunch of good movies.
Right. That's such a lame joke. So you don't have to. Oh, cool. I'm pretty sure now that whether or not I had to watch Hubie Halloween.
Be careful about how much you go into this, because I feel like at some point in the past we've probably done the like, so you don't have to.
Oh, I'm sure that's an episode title.
Yeah,
I'm sure that we've gone in. I'm sure like we giggled when we thought of it.
Yeah,
too.
probably.
And then like we took credit for it and shit. Like the next episode, we were like, Lights Camera Podcast did us, so you don't have to. What the fuck?
We probably have like, so you don't have to merch.